Well, you know, it's okay. You did 3 movies there. So, yeah. Hey, can I ask you? Have you been working on anything new? Come on, I had to take the shot. You know,
I didn't even hear what you said.
I asked if you've been working. All the better. See, you used the Jedi mind trick. I said, have you been working on anything new? Now,
This beard.
yeah.
It's taken so long. This is since April 29th.
Really? So it just
Takes forever. See, I thought I'd be clean shaven for this weekend.
Yeah.
And I sort of backtracked on the calendar. I thought, oh no, I'm not going to make it. So, you know, I don't color my hair. And I thought, well, you know, I don't have that much gray. Then I grew the beard and I was stay at the shop.
Mine is all white. I'm really Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah. Well, for any of the younger people that might be slightly alarmed, just tell them that I'm Luke's grandfather. We don't want any frightened the little ones.
And you know, I just want to cover this a bit. I am such a fan of Star Wars, obviously. And the thing I loved about it was the first time I saw it in a drive-in theater in San Jose, California, back in '77.
Drive-in theater with that great sound.
Great sound quality. A little speaker. It was like a cell phone. No, I was surprised. I was amazed, and I was just engulfed in the story. And that's the beauty of movies, is when you get in there and you just dig down deep into that story. And the thing about that is when you don't know every aspect about it before you go in. You know, it's like trailers give everything away nowadays. So I don't really think I want to know all that much. I just want to know, I'm glad you're in it. And I'm happy that you're in it, but I'd like to talk about your career here today and, you know.
Well, you can imagine what it was like, because I got the part after an interview with George, like I told before,
Yeah.
a co-interview with George for this movie, and Brian De Palma for Carrie.
Yeah.
Then I got a scene in the mail, and we shot that on video. I did that with Harrison, who I knew from American Graffiti, so I recognized him. I thought, ooh, he knows George. Maybe he can give me some insight. And, you know, I'm saying, is this like a parody, or are we making fun of this? I mean, is it a joke? Is it like Mel Brooks?
It's hard for any of us to imagine, because we all know Star Wars now, but yeah, you wouldn't have known. There wasn't really anything like it before that, so it could have been a parody for all you.
Yeah, well, it seemed like, I didn't really know, because like I say, it was only 7 or 9 and 10 pages. The experience that I'll never forget was my agent said, you got the part, and they're going to send the script over. And I had this little 1-bedroom apartment at the ocean in Malibu. It saved up all my TV and soap opera money, and had this place out at the beach. To sit down and read that script.
Yeah.
You know, wait a minute, I'm Luke in this thing? Because I thought when I did the screen test, Harrison looked like the leading man. I thought I was the sidekick. You know, he was the guy in control, and I was like the annoying, you know, sidekick. And I opened the page, and it said, the title page, believe it or not, said, "The Adventures of Luke Skywalker as taken from the Journal of the Whills, Saga number 1, The Star Wars." And I went, wait a minute, I think I'm Luke.
Yeah.
Why isn't it, you know, The Adventures of Han Solo? So I started reading this thing, you know, and it's, you know, people can't imagine with John Williams' fantastic score and all the wonderful effects work, it's hard to imagine how impactful it was just to read it. And it was. I mean, when I'm reading this thing, I went, holy moly, this is really floating cars and lightsabers and
I've never asked you about that, the lightsaber. I mean, you know, it's commonplace for us now. Did that blow your mind at the time? Were you like, I can't wait to see how this is going to look?
What is this? Well, it's a beam of light, and you can cut all these things. And there was description enough in the text so that you sort of understood what was going on. But I'm telling you, after, I mean, I read it in an hour or two, and I went right back to the beginning and started reading again. But it's just, I was like, the wind was knocked out of me. I called my friend Jonathan Benaire, and he worked at the LA Art Museum, and I said, look up every fantasy and science fiction movie since the original King Kong, and I want to see what the grosses were. And he said, why? I said, I just read something that I'll bet you anything is going to be just as popular as Planet of the Apes. And I meant the original one with Charlton Heston. Because the whole idea was, I knew my agent said, well, if this one's successful, then there's going to be a 2 and a 3. You know, although the numbering was confusing. It's like episode 4, huh?
Yeah.
Looking under the couch cushions. Maybe I lost the first part. That was the idea, is to get you. The idea was to make you feel like you come into it having missed a few chapters.
Yeah,
so,
and again, kind of ahead of its time.
And I remember saying to George, the very first day that Darth Vader entered, I wanted to be on set that day. I didn't work that day, but listen, you know, like it was so much more interesting to be on set than just being a tourist in London. So I said, I want to be there on the day that David comes through the wall. And they had.
It was the big scene that we know. That
first comes through.
Yeah.
And because I love the costume, I said to George, "Wow, it's cool. It's like Doctor Doom."
That's great.
Gave me a dirty look. I mean, there's influences. There's so many influences. It's pirate movies. It's cowboy movies. It's the Dam Busters. It's the Hidden Fortress. As we know, it's been, you know, every element, you know, put together makes it all. You know, everything old is new again. But in any case, I remember during one of the breaks, I said to George on the day that Vader enters through that wall, and I said, "Aren't you going to cut to 2 guys saying?" That's the Dark Lord of the Sith. He's, you know,
Give you the exposition.
He goes, no, we'll just play some scary music. He's all dressed in black. I'll know he's the bad guy. What a model of brevity! Of course. Anybody that dresses like that, you know, there's something wrong.
Yeah. Hey, how's it going? You know, yeah.
Exactly.
Now, you know, I don't know if you're aware of this, just a couple weeks ago, we celebrated the birthday of Star Wars. It was 37 years ago, just a couple weeks ago, that it all happened, that it all began.
How can that be true when I'm only 42?
I don't know.
I'm happy with you, Luke's grandfather. In fact, I should point out that I'm the exact age that Sir Alec was when he did Star Wars. Today I am.
Wow.
It's true.
What a chemistry instantly with some characters that are, you know, actors there, some characters that are droids, some are Wookiees, and you all just had this beautiful, wonderful chemistry.
I loved it. There was a contrast too between, it seemed like all the bad guys had gone to RADA. You know, they had gone to the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art. No Vader, no sorcerer's ways. Remember that guy? And my wife, I had met her, she was a dental hygienist, and I took her to see, I said, I did this movie called Star Wars, and she said, is it anything like Star Trek? And I went, yeah, exactly. Rather explain, you know. And I'll never forget this. I mean, this is one of the reasons I love her so much. She's watching this scene, we call it the bad guy's boardroom scene, and Richard Lapointe has that line, you know, he's the skeptic. That line I just quoted. Lord Vader, no sorcerer's ways, not locate. She's, you know, everybody's riveted, because it's, you know, you've had that great shot overhead, that usually really grabbed them. You've seen Darth Vader, Peter Cushing's involved, and so it's very gripping. And after Richard finished his line, she leaned over to me and went, "Bad cats." She's a dental hygienist. I probably should have said that at first. My point is, it's like, talk about your limited perspective, you know. So for years now, we'll see Reds or whatever, and she'll say, "Oh, the dentistry in that was totally anachronistic."
Everybody has
views things from a dental point of view.
from a certain point of view.
I have so many family members that I'm surprised it's like a whole section.
Yeah, it's actually
I have
most of the
nieces
audience.
and nephews, it's Diana and Mary and Bill and Joey and Emma and Evelyn and Connie and Nancy, my mother-in-law. Who am I leaving out? Bob. I have my 3 children, Nathan, Griffin, and Chelsea. And for all you people that love Star Wars minutia, Nathan was born in St. John's Wood when we were doing Empire Strikes Back. So, and he has a cameo in Phantom Menace that even I can't see where he is. Because you know how they do that thing where they print like 12 people and they print it,
Yeah.
hundreds of people, and it's like, there he is! You know. I've never seen it.
Wow, that is great. Well, okay, so now getting back to this chemistry, does it just happen on a movie sometimes where it automatically you think, these are people I'm going to hang out with, we're going to have stuff in common, we're going to work well together, or sometimes you work well together but don't have the chemistry?
Well, it's always different, you know, it's your job to fool people. So maybe you have someone that's playing your wife or your girlfriend and you just don't get along, but on camera, you have to do all those things with sense memory of, you know, with someone that you really do love. So actors really do their jobs well. I have to tell you though, with Carrie and Harrison and I, we just got along so well that we were doing things outside of the shooting. You know, we'd go out together and go to restaurants and so forth. And part of that was bonding because we were Americans, you know, in a foreign country and we were all British. But, well, Carrie had gone to the Central School of Drama, so she had much more of an affinity for the British way of life. And in fact, in the movie, she just had a little, I thought I recognized your foul stench. Remember? She had that sort of, you know, and we have, see, that was a line that really cracked me up. You know? I said, why would you go and talk about someone's body odor if you're trying to, you know, win them over? Don't mention anybody's foul stench. You know? It doesn't really work well.
That's a great one.
Oh, yes.
Look at that. That's
And,
very
you know why it's like that? Because an explosion's just gone off. They would squib the set, you know, and fire these things off. So that was sort of a
little reaction to it.
Print that picture.
That's great. Now, speaking of pictures, if I show you some images, can you just fill us in on
Sure.
Yeah, so okay, let's see. We have some stuff here. Can we put something up here? Let's see what we got.
This is a conversation with Mark. I think they're getting to the easy ones first.
Wait, okay, how about this one then?
Oh, yes. Well, the thing is, I love the illusion that it creates, but there's a making of where they have the camera back, and then you see that there's a mattress like right here, because all I have to sort of lean out of shot, because the camera stays there and you just lean out and you're out. But sometimes I lose my balance and fall off the kangaroo thing. Tauntaun. Oh gosh, I'm not a Star Wars trivia.
That's okay. That's okay.
I just blanked on it. Of course it's a Tauntaun.
But they're good eating, you know.
Yeah.
Tauntauns.
I've been inside one. Don't
Yes.
tell me.
Speaking of being inside something, I've always been curious about this. Did you have to be like certified as a diver or anything?
Yes, in fact, they took me to an all-girls school. And, yeah, and there was scuba gear. I said, I don't think it'll be a problem for me, but they said, no, we want to make sure that you don't panic or anything. And so I got to go to this private girls' school, and they had this gigantic pool, swimming pool. And I loved it. I wanted to stay there for hours and hours, and then I came up one time, and up on the second floor, I mean, a whole classroom of kids had come out, all, you know, 10 to 14-year-old girls, because there's some oddball yank in our pool. I was dressed better than that, but I remember when I got fitted for those oversized Pampers, I said, George, if you make an action figure of this, I'm going to come look at you.
Done it.
He said, no, we never will. And I think they have, haven't they?
Have they done it? Anybody
Oh,
have
they
that?
lie all the time.
Oh, there's somebody has one.
Somebody has one.
Now,
I don't, thank God.
Was this like going to be some other, like an outtake? I've never seen this before. But it's like
I
a
never
face
have
mask.
either. They do a lot of these production stills, and for the most part, they.
Where's Kasdan there?
Look, there's Larry
Where's Kasdan?
Kasdan, who wrote the screenplay. That's Larry.
Yep.
And this is
A puppeteer?
Yeah, but Peter, I'm blanking on his last name. Not John Mallow. I'm blanking on it, but what happens is there's so many photographs taken, they take way more than they need, and for the most part, the movies come and they go, and it's but now, over the years, there's photographs that they never would have released.
Yeah.
Because of the demand over the years, they wanted to show more and more and more.
Sure. So it's just going to be like a scene as part of the whole
And
medical.
another thing George doesn't print very often are the outtakes, which is a shame because we had some really hilarious stuff.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's only a few out there, but and they're great.
well, when you think of the absurdity, and you're sitting there with this decorated, a man who's been knighted for his dramatic ability, Sir Alex, sitting right next to this gigantic, overgrown
Carpet kind
Yeah.
of, like a walking carpet.
And so, and like I say, George is he's a minimalist when it comes to direction.
Yeah.
You know, his mantra was always faster and more intensity. Yeah. You know, he'd say that to me, faster with more intensity. Then I'd overhear him with Alec Guinness, faster with more intensity. We eventually had t-shirts printed up, faster, more intensity. And then we would bump into people from American Graffiti. Cindy Williams and I worked together one time. She goes,
Yeah.
"Did George still use faster with more intensity?" I said, "Yes." I said, "Yeah, exactly." My favorite one though was, especially of all the explosions, it was that whole thing. Because once squibs go off, you have to reset it. Everybody has to get out of the cockpit. They let the technicians get back in and load up the squibs. So you have like 45 minutes to an hour between takes. And, so it's, one of the lines that was jinxed for Harrison was, it'll take a few moments for the Navic computer to calculate the coordinates. I can't even say it myself. It'll take a few moments for the Navic computer to calculate the coordinates. Well, not only is it a tongue twister, but we have squibs going off, and it's going like, it's gonna take a while to get all the info. And if the squibs go off, you still have to do it all over again.
So yeah, you can ADR it later.
Well, yeah,
A little.
George, you can get away with so much, but that whole thing, that's no moon, that's a space station. That whole thing, when that was all over, we thought we'd done pretty well, and we looked out at George, and he was standing there, he was always scratching his beard like this. We look at him and he goes, And when he sort of got it back together, he goes, let's do it again, but this time, do it better. Wow,
that's
this
the
guy's
direction
going to
you
be
want.
nominated for Best Director for Joy. Do it better.
These ones, we uncovered these. I love these because look at the connection. That's a beautiful shot, isn't it? And he's so real.
That's it. Looking into Yoda's eyes, from the very first day of rehearsal, I came in on a Saturday when they had the full, because we had done with the dummy Yoda, the mouth was articulated, but the eyes and ears weren't. But when they had the full on with Frank did the mouth in the left hand, and Wendy did the right arm, and then there was somebody on ears.
Yeah.
And there's Wendy, and oh no, look, he's doing the mouth in the left hand. Okay, but like I say, that's the and see, this was a picture they wouldn't let out for decades. But once I looked into his eyes, I was just gone. It's an interesting thing if you watch small children when they do the Muppets, when they're not trying to even hide.
Yeah.
They don't look here, they look right here. So
there you are.
It's not hard to absolutely believe it's real.
Would
And
you hear the
Nathan
voice?
was small enough where he sat and had his little lunch in Yoda's house, his little PB&J. He's got the most interesting scrapbook ever sitting in the banker's hand. It's all like before he can really remember though, because he was born June 25th of 79 when we were making the movie. So by the time we did A Jedi, would have been, in 82.
Yeah.
And he was a full-on, Muppet and Star Wars maniac.
Wow. To grow up in it, though, that must have been pretty cool. Huh?
And he hasn't changed. He's pretty much the same today.
Yes, he is. Very talented young man as well, though. So,
No, I also, when I point out, Colin Skeeping was my stunt person through all 3 films, and they let me do a lot.
Yeah.
The only thing they didn't want me to do was the springboard out the
Those
plate
are actually pretty dangerous.
glass.
Yeah.
It wasn't glass. It's basically the same material that they make lollipops out of.
Yes.
And the stunt guy said, "Can you do a flip off a diving board?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Oh, you can do it." Because they had just, yes, exactly. And they had reams and reams of those big packing boxes, like when you move, like beacons, with mattresses. And they had a ring of stuntmen all the way around. And I said, what's the ring of stuntmen for? And they said, well, if you bounce off, we'll try and catch you on the first bounce.
We'll try.
But the thing was, that shot right there is
Yeah.
Colin, and I think he really deserves all the credit in the world, because I wanted to do it, but the insurance people said no. And you run, and there's a springboard, and he might have done that from freestanding just for the still. But on the shot, he ran and did the springboard.
I seem to
and
recall
ran
seeing
out.
there's some video, I think, somewhere even of him doing that.
Well,
Pretty
let's see. I
remarkable.
mean,
Yeah.
I have probably
shot there.
gotten away with saying that's me, but everybody was.
Yeah, you said, let's say
They
it's,
say, no, they
you
say
did
that's
great
his
in that
ass.
shot, Mark. Come
You
on.
know that ass anywhere, it's not him.
Okay. And here we go with another one. Now see, I'm curious about this with you and Sebastian Shaw.
Sebastian Shaw.
So for those of you that may not know, Sebastian Shaw was the actor that performed Vader, Anakin Skywalker at the end of Return of the Jedi. Because now a lot of people know, of course, there's another Anakin there, but here he
Well,
is
it was
first.
sort of twofold, because it's like demystifying the character that you imagined in your
All
head.
those years, what does he look like? What's under the
Exactly.
mask?
So, but at the same time, he had such humanity in his face.
Yeah.
It was very moving, and he was in place. I mean, he couldn't get up and walk around the set, so I got a little apple box and sat next to him between takes. And we did that all in one day. I think even in the morning, we might have been finished by lunchtime. But
And did you see him before? Did you see the makeup before that first
no,
reveal?
because he
Was
got
it
in
really
so
yet?
early. It's the same with Ian McDermott. I eventually said to Ian, you know, he's the emperor. He would come in at 4 o'clock, and I would get there at 6:30. And also, when I was done, I just had to jump in the shower and shampoo and wash my face and.
Wash the Luke off you.
That's exactly. Wash all that Dagobah off me. But,
That's right.
Ian, and by the way, I knew it was a tauntaun. I just like to tease you. But I said, and Ian, it took him like an hour and a half to get out of that stuff. So I said, we're never going to even know what he looks like unless we invite him out to the house. So Mary Lou and I had him out for a traditional Sunday dinner, and up the walk comes this young guy with red hair. I mean, unbelievable. Now he's sort of caught up to what he's supposed to look like. I mean, in terms of his white hair, he's still got a very youthful energy.
But wasn't that brilliant, though? Isn't that awesome that he got to play the part all those years apart, and then it fit just perfectly?
Yeah.
Hey, here's another shot that I'm curious about. This gentleman right here, John Williams.
Oh my gosh.
What?
John Williams. Well, first of all, we never really thought about the score when we were doing the movie. And Gary Kurtz, one of the producers who did American Graffiti and the first 2 Star Wars movies, was going to pick me up to take me to do the ADR.
The automatic dialogue replacement. So sometimes when you shoot a film, the audio is not good for some reason or another, and you have to redo the stuff. So that's what Mark's talking about, ADR, for those of you that may
And he said, look what I have. I said, what's that? He goes, I have the finished score from the London Symphony Orchestra for the movie. I said, really? Would you like to hear it? Are you kidding? So he puts it in, and it's a stereo system in a car.
In a car, so yeah,
it's fantastic.
Yeah.
I just was overwhelmed because, you know, a lot of times science fiction people think, oh, mood synthesizer, very cold electronic music. And here was this sweeping score that, you know, reminded me of old pirate movies.
It wasn't.
Yeah, the theremin.
Yeah.
That's a theremin. And, he would tell me what each track was. He goes, okay, now this is the princess's theme.
Yeah.
And he played that. And I said, where's Luke's theme? He goes, your theme is the main title theme. I said, it is? Why don't you call it Luke's theme? He goes, no, it's main titles.
Well, we call it Luke's theme
Missed it
here.
by that much. But
we got another
listen,
picture.
again, I have to say before we go off John Williams, you can't give him enough credit in terms of the overwhelming emotional resonance that movie has because of a full orchestra.
It's been said like George Martin is to the Beatles, like the fifth Beatle.
gosh.
He was really another character in the film.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's going to do episodes 7 through 9. There's only one John Williams.
And there's only one of this guy right here too. So what was this? I mean, you've given us a lot of great stories about George, but
Well, it was many years and many pounds ago. Although they made me go on a regimen, which is, and I tell people, they said, what diet do you want? I said, if it tastes good, don't eat it.
you look great, by the way. Doesn't he look great?
30 pounds since last summer.
Wow.
But no sugar,
Yep.
no carbs,
Yep.
no dairy, no fun.
At the same time.
Although just on the Star Wars weekend, I've had popcorn.
Very grateful for Star Wars weekends.
Because, I keep saying, I said, look, I don't know what the odds are. You think maybe my wardrobe might be robe-oriented? Because, voiceover artists, we get away with murder.
Yes, that's true.
People don't have to see us, they just have to hear us.
It's true, but you are actually a very impressive voice actor. And, I make my living as a voice actor, and I gotta tell you, you are one of the top. You are one of the top, and it's so
I can be
great.
one of the top.
What's that?
I knew James Arnold Taylor years before his association with Star Wars. One thing I love about voiceover is it's so liberating because since you can't be seen, they don't they listen to what you're performing rather than visually try and pigeonhole you.
But the
You
brilliant
think I'm
thing-
too short for a stormtrooper? I'm way too short for the Joker too. He's like 6'2" or whatever.
Yeah, but that's the brilliant thing. And the thing I love is when you're in the studio, you have no inhibitions. Some people get in, especially celebrities will get into the studio and they're very self-aware. And you
Right.
just become the character. And you just all
Well,
of
I
us
love
just
it.
get
Like I
into
say, it's liberating not to be seen. You don't have any sort of performance anxiety because people can't see you. It's sort of like telling your kids a story at night with the lights out.
Yeah.
It's all imagination. And I'm trying to think because I thought, well, it's Disney weekend. I haven't done a lot of Disney. I did 2 Little Mermaids. I played Sebastian's rival Zeus, which was great fun because he's wonderful. Sam Wright is his name.
Yeah, and
In fact, he was on satellite. I wasn't in the same room with him.
Okay, yeah.
But then I came back and I played Hans Christian Andersen when they told the story how he wrote The Little Mermaid.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I did.
Do you remember what you did for the voice on that at all? Was it for Hans Christian Andersen? You did-
Well, I said, all weekend I worked on my Danish accent. They said,
Yeah.
no, we don't want any accent at all. I thought,
Just you.
What? Only Meryl Streep gets to do accents?
Hey, now how about there's this one
There's
character?
a new one called Gravity Falls that I've done.
Yeah, Gravity Falls. You know Gravity Falls?
I haven't seen it yet, and I just did it, so it'll be probably about 6 months off.
Regular show, right? Regular show.
Regular show, now we're in our 6th season.
Isn't that
I can
awesome?
tell you, I don't